Hello, everyone, and welcome to GodSaw's Turnbuckle. I would love to give you a lot more of a jovial or any other type of intro at this point in time, but that's a little bit hard to do with this one because I wanted to kind of talk about everything that was going down today in WWE side. As many people already know, there were numbers of releases and furloughs within the company. To go along with that, I'm going to go through all those names here. It seems like that has kind of stopped for the day. So it seems like we do have all those names, at least for today, based off of everything here. And I'll get into it a little bit more as we go along. But based off of how everything started today, a lot of people were kind of expecting something like this to start happening today. And it was originally started that WWE was holding a conference call at about noon Eastern time where they were going to announce something. And what they basically announced, I have most of what is been here. I don't have the full transcript of it. But WWE today announced due to COVID-19 and current government mandated impacts on WWE and media business in general, the company went through an extensive evaluation of its operations, which resulted in the implementation of various short-term cost reduction and cash flow improvement actions. These cost-cutting measures included reducing executive and board member compensation, which I would imagine is either dividends or maybe even salary in general with those. Also decreasing operating expenses, which is kind of normal which would be kind of normal. I mean, they've been going through the performance center, so that would be a cost-cutting measure. Talent, cutting talent expenses, which we'll get into here in a brief moment. Also, third-party staffing and consulting. So they're not going to be doing a lot of third-party stuff, much like that they have been doing before, which was what they had actually done for, I believe, at least for the Boneyard match, that they had a third party helping them out there. And deferring spending on the build out of the new headquarters for at least 6 months. Now, if you had not know about that piece of news, that the WWE is moving out of the original Titan Towers headquarters. They were supposed to do that sometime this year. It looks like that's not going to happen for quite some period of time. It continues on from here. Given the uncertainty of the situation, the company had also identified headcount reductions and made the decision to furlough a portion of the workforce effective immediately. The decision to furlough versus permanently reduce headcount reflects the fact that the company currently believes the furlough will be temporary in nature, based on the statement. So basically what furloughing is, and I actually know a little bit about this at this point in time, not too terribly much, because where I was working at, I had been furloughed recently myself. It's essentially an extended leave. Now, based upon the company, depends on what how the company is doing it. It's either with no pay or partial pay or full pay, depending on the company. On those particular ones. To go along with that, so they were going to be furloughing a fair amount of people, but also they were going to be based off of the talent cutting expenses, means that releases were coming. Now, I want to read this last little portion of it because this will kind of tie into everything here. The reduction of employee compensation and headcount will result in an estimated an estimated monthly savings of $4 million, along with cash flow improvement of $140 million, primarily from the deferral in spending on the new headquarters. So they were spending a lot of money going to the new headquarters on that one. WWE also said they have approximately $500 million, so $500 million, in financial resources to manage the challenges ahead. So I wanted to get all those out there at this point in time because with all those things that I also said in there, the more because it's also really bad on the factors of people losing their jobs, everything to go along with that, regardless of where it was. Hopefully, the people who get furloughed in this situation are going to be able to come back rather soon or soon enough to go along with that. But it also did mean that a lot of people got laid off, or in this case, for the talent expenditures area, it also meant there were releases today, and there were a lot of them. And on my mind, based off of what we've seen, I'll go through all the names here because I want to give each of them at least a decent amount of respect in that sense, because this is heartbreaking. You got to feel for them in this situation to go along with it. And I'm not even gonna lie. It's something that's been happening since this entire situation with everything's been going on, is that people are being either let go, furloughed, you're out of work for a period of time. To go along with that, I'm in that same boat. It's been going on for quite some time. So to a certain degree, as heartbreaking as this is, it really is. And based off of some of the stuff that I've been reading from some of the superstars, which I'm about to go through all these different names here of superstars who got released. These are people who are gone from the company. They're not being furloughed or anything like that. It's hard to say based off the legalities if you're able to furlough a independent contractor or anything to go along with that. But I also wanted to go through this before I go through the names here, because a lot of these are 205 live names and raw names, which leads me to indicate that today is not going to be the only day of this. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have 3 very bad days coming up here very soon. Because NXT is tonight. I imagine there's going to be something with NXT starting tomorrow. And then either late Friday or Saturday, or maybe Monday. Maybe they don't do it until business starts up on Monday. But then the SmackDown crew, since they are on Friday nights, we may be hearing something about that here in the very near future as well. Again, this is incredibly heartbreaking to go through on that one. But here are the names that have been released as of today. Sorry. I have to at least get a drink here. So, so the names that have been so far released, and I think these are going to be everything for today at this time. I've been putting this off for quite some time. Here are the names. They are Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Heath Slater, Aiden English, Eric Young, EC3, Leo Rush, Kurt Angle, Sarah Logan, Mike Chioda, which that's even crazier because Mike Chioda's been with that company since 1999. Also, the aspects of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, they technically main evented night 1 of WrestleMania with that Boneyard match, and they're just gone. But still going. Primo and Epico, the Colognes. Primo and Epico Cologne. Rowan, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, Zack Ryder, No Way Jose, Rusev, Deanna Purrazzo, and Alexander Jaksic, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Sorry if I butchered that name. I'm trying to give as much respect to this as I possibly can on those ones. As I mentioned there, it's a lot of Raw and 205, and those last 2 were NXT people. on that one. It's also been announced that NXT announcer Jerry Soto has been placed on furlough at this time. Other people who have been placed on furlough on this one also seem to be people who were backstage agents, with the exception of Kurt Angle. Angle was a backstage agent, but it seems like he has been fully let go from the company. These guys, like I said, they're completely gone. But the ones that seem to be on furlough at this time, which means that they have that potential of being brought back when things are more normalized. And I guess there's even a possibility of some of these names being brought back as well when things become normalized to go along with it. But still, situation is so crazy, so absolutely crazy with that. But other names that were backstage agents: Fit Finley, Dave Fit Finley, Lance Storm, Mike Rotunda, Shane Hurricane Helms, Scott Armstrong, Pat Buck, Sarah Stock, Sean Davari, and Billy Kidman. All these were backstage agents who have been working on matches, everything on that end of it, and they're being placed on furlough until further notice. All these people are technically gone from the company at this point in time. It's very heartbreaking on that one. And I said it earlier that, a lot of companies have been doing something like this, whether it be a furlough, which is technically a temporary style of leave, or in many cases, especially with the cases of the names that I said beforehand with the superstars, completely gone. They've been released, laid off. If you want to basically say it on that end. It's hard to really go through all those ones. I did watch Drake Maverick's his not necessarily promo, but his little selfie video that he did afterwards, which was absolutely heartbreaking to get through on those particular ones. Basically, it looks like he's able to still do he's still going to be able to do the 3 matches, so he does have a little bit of time, but once that time's over with, he's gone. Incredibly talented person, and every single one of these people, and I'm going to go off and say, regardless of the factors of how they were used on TV or anything like that, to go along with it, all these guys in one way, shape, or form, extremely talented in every way, and hopefully once things are a little bit more normalized or anything like that, they're able to at least do something with the independent side. Now, one thing that I did hear on this one as well, it seems like those reports have been going out as well, that with these releases, they weren't just like being released and you're done. Nothing. Apparently, there was at least some sort of buyout of the contract itself, and they were saying that it was some substantial amount of their contracts to go along with it. So it seems like each of these guys are going to get something from this. They're not being just out there high and dry. There's nothing to get them by for any period of time. Seems like they are going to be getting something on that side. That is one positive of this, but it still gets you right here. It still gets you right in the feels there, that these guys who probably have an incredible passion of wanting to work in this type of business, in wrestling, in this field, that they're being let go by WWE at this time without really being able to go apply their craft anywhere else. You can't imagine AEW is going to be doing a lot of hiring at this point in time. Independent shows aren't running because of everything that's being put in place here. They just simply can't run on those. So in that sense, yes, there's at least a slight positive that it seems like they're getting some kind of buyout of their contracts, but it still gets you there because a lot of these guys have a lot of passion behind this, and they've got no way of applying that trade anymore. At least for the time being, until things are able to become normalized. And it's heartbreaking. It and it's just it's hard to really come up with words, personally. And based off of the names that we have here today, NXT, like the vibe on NXT is going to be a weird one tonight if you watch NXT. I've made I've yet to make a decision whether or not I'm going to be reviewing the weekly television shows for the time being. I made an announcement earlier today on something like that. That's different video, different thing. But man, I don't. But based off of all the names that we have here, you don't think that I don't think this is over with yet. I don't think we're going to be having good news on the wrestling side for quite some time, at least on WWE's end, to go along with it. It's because NXT is tonight, and there weren't a lot of NXT people here. A lot of these people were Raw and 205 Live, which I get 205 Live still being done on Fridays, and they're still going with that. But I feel like there's that potential that after Friday's show, whether it be on Saturday morning or Monday morning when things go back to normal business or technical normal business days within the offices, that we're going to probably get something tomorrow after the NXT show, and then we're going to get something either Saturday or Monday with SmackDown to go along with it. I don't think this is over with yet. Again, I'll say it one more time on there that it's at least positive, a slight positive that the company released them and is doing some kind of buyout of their contracts, which means they're getting something. They're, legitimately getting something for this on this particular one, and not being left high and dry during this situation during a global pandemic. Though they've got nowhere to go. Now, it's at least they've got nowhere to go to apply their trade that they've been practicing and working on for a long period of time. And even people who have been with the company for over 30 years on this one, it's absolutely insane. And like I said, I don't think we're going to have a lot of good days here to go along with that in the very near future. Like I said, usually I try to take the positive route on a lot of different things, but there was no way of really taking a positive route on this one, though we got at least something with how people were, at least getting reported for their releases. I implore, though, to anybody, check out a lot of the videos. The Drake Maverick video was absolutely heartbreaking to go through on that one. And a lot of these were, kind of heartbreaking to go through, but also a lot of people were putting up videos or at least statements in some way, shape, or form, were also being very positive in their situations. They're taking a very positive outlook of what's going on, which is something I think a lot of people need during this time period, is to try to remain positive in every way, shape, or form. Trying to get yourself day by day through what's going on in this world. And I know it's extremely hard. That's the outlook that I've been going through. One of the things that, during this time period that I've been trying to do is more video editing, doing different things to try to improve myself and try to improve whatever I want at this point in time. So hopefully a lot of people are doing that as well at this time. Again, I hope everybody's staying safe. Take care, stay healthy, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, everybody.